We are building this woman through a website. A place where individuals come together and share their stories and dreams for a brighter tomorrow. It's in 12 countries in just 2 years, and it's growing faster and faster. It's hopes and dreams and ambitions in its truest form. We began with one student in one village, and you can too. Join us and change the world, one life at a time.
Well, it's nice to be here, everyone. I'd love to get a sense of who's all in the room. Raise your hand if you're a freshman. Woo! Any sophomores? Juniors? Seniors? And how many of you are here just for the pizza? Anyone? No? Well, I'm going to spend 10 minutes telling you about how the school fund got started, and then I would really love to open it up to questions and hear from you what you would like to do and why you're interested in international development. So off we go. As Ms. Whitson said, I graduated from Palo in 2007. A little old, I know. And this photo was taken the summer that I graduated. I took a trip to Tanzania. Has anyone ever been to Tanzania before? Anywhere in Africa? Anyone been to Africa? Cool. Where'd you go? Morocco. Nice. Just for fun, or?
Yeah.
Where'd you go?
Egypt.
Egypt? Cool. I went to Egypt too. So this is a photo in Tanzania, and I met this kid here on the left named John. John is one of 5 children, and this is Dad, and his family makes about $1 a day. And he told me that he wanted to grow up to become president of Tanzania, which I thought was really cool. But the next thing that I learned was that John couldn't afford to go to high school. Does anyone have any guesses as to how much it costs to go to high school in a country like Tanzania? You can shout it out. What? $10? Anyone else? Huh?
$150 a year.
Yeah, cheater. $150. John needed to pay $150 per year to go to high school. And as you can figure out if you're decent at arithmetic, $1 a day, 5 children, there's no way you're going to be able to afford to send all 5 of your kids to school. So I was pretty shocked that such a small amount of money was standing in the way of John and this goal of his to become president. So what I did was, upon leaving, we gave John and his family the fees to pay for his first year of school. And it turns out that every year of secondary school, in a country where the per capita income is $1 a day or less, each year adds 10% to that person's earning capacity for life. So if you go to high school for 4 years, you're likely to make 40% more than if you didn't go to school at all. So it's really a pretty powerful boost in terms of your ability to provide for yourself and your family later on in life. So this is a photo from 2011. John's getting a little taller, and what's happened here is we've really grown to become friends. And the reason is because I started this organization, which I'm going to show you in a second, that connects people like me and like all of you with students like John who just need a little bit of money to go to school. So I'd like to ask you guys a couple questions. Hopefully this works. What are some issues that you guys can think of related to international development? Are there any kind of major issues that you can think of? Yeah.
Overpopulation.
Overpopulation? Yeah. Okay.
Too fast.
Anyone else want to shout something out? Yeah.
Access to electricity.
Yeah, that's a great one. Good point. How about, and I'm looking for any issues with your traditional international development agencies like the World Bank or the IMF? Yeah.
So we're only funding, like, our government's only funding, like, our funds are only 0.5, I think.
So that we give very little sort of amount of our money. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Anybody else? Yeah.
Corruption,
Corruption.
like in the government level.
Yeah, that's it. Let's go off that. So, a lot of the times, these big, huge groups like the World Bank, the IMF, they'll just go into a community and plop like $30 million down. And it's unclear where that money's going, what it's being used for. And oftentimes, the local government will end up taking 20% right off the top to go buy cars or clothes or homes or whatever. And so that was something that I was really attuned to when I was your age. Is, there's a lot of money that goes overseas, but oftentimes it's not really accounted for. I'll just ask one more question. Has anyone ever done like a sponsor a child or a sponsor a student thing with their family? Yeah, tell me, how did that work out?
We did it through Viva. We gave $100 to this one goat farmer
Okay.
so she could sell her clothing to Split City. I don't know.
Cool. Yeah. Viva's pretty good. Has anyone else done it through like World Vision or? Well, you're welcome to say what you're going to.
Well, I don't know what the program's called, but we did a thing where like you purchase like livestock, you get that to somebody else.
Like Pepper
Yeah.
International or something?
Yeah, something like that. We gave like 3 pigs.
3 pigs?
Yeah.
Nice. Do you want to say something?
Oh, yeah, I work through the organization Compassion.
Okay.
We sponsor a child.
Yeah. Yeah, so, as you may or may not know, there's a lot of organizations out there that do, this child sponsorship or student sponsorship stuff. And they've been around for a long time, and they're sort of, in my opinion, like stuck in the 20th century. You go to their website and you see, you can sponsor a child for $500 a year, but there's no way to actually connect with the student directly. And then you usually end up writing, a letter and goes somewhere and you don't really know where it's going, and then you get a letter back. It could be from your student, it could not be. Might get lost in the mail, etc. So those two things, number one, like you were talking about, really using money appropriately and in the way that it's intended. And number two, giving people a chance to really build relationships with the students that they're supporting. Those were two things that we wanted to include in the project. So I'm going to take you over to the website now and show you what we ended up with. Let me build something face. So here we are. This is the school fund. And what it is a website where people can go on and find students, now in 13 countries around the world, who just like John, need a little bit of money to help go to school. And I'll just go down here and show you John's profile, actually first. So I was really interested in giving people a chance to find a student they might have something in common with, right? It's like, we all have our own interests. I thought it'd be cool if people could go find students with similar interests. So you can go filter students by those who want to be teachers or doctors, or students who like math and physics. And when you click on a student's profile, you get a sense of who they are. So this is John, who I showed you a photo of in the beginning. He likes biology and chemistry. He wants to be president one day, like I said. It tells you where he comes from, what his hobbies are. And then to my first point of showing people where their money's going, we've created this list of school fees. So you can see exactly what John needs to go to school. And on top of that, this I think is something that's pretty different. We actually collect receipts from the student schools. So we want to show you, if you donate to help John go to school and you've helped pay for this $188 that he needs, this is the proof of payment. This is showing you that your money is actually going to that school. And then the second thing I mentioned, that connection, is right here. Every student has a journal where they and their supporters can write messages and share photos. This was my birthday a couple weeks ago, so I sent him a photo from we're up a party bus, and students and their supporters can go back and build relationships with one another. So Debbie is a coworker of mine at Google, and John and other students like Shangwei is another student from Nanjing have actually gone on and chatted with one another. Any questions so far about how this works? Yeah.
Do you ever get like people donating more to one person and one?
Like from the homepage, are like certain kids funded faster than others? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great question. We haven't really noticed that to be a problem. Girls tend to get funded a little bit faster than boys, and it's actually, in some ways, a good thing because in the developing world, have you heard of the Girl Effect, or anyone read Half the Sky by Nick Kristof? Yeah. And there's a lot of really interesting data and stories around when you invest in a guy, he goes off and earns money and spends it on himself. But when you invest in a girl, she goes off and earns money and actually reinvests it in her family. So there's actually kind of a multiplier effect when you invest in girls education. And so I think people are sort of aware of that and like to fund girls. Any other questions? No? Okay. Yeah?
For your partners, did you go out to different organizations and tell them about the project so they could bring in other people?
Yeah.
How did you
Yeah, that's a good question. And thanks for asking that. I'd like to spend the next 5 minutes sort of telling you how I got started with this, sort of as a student who was essentially your age, what resources I use, and then how I kind of grew it to where it is today. And then after that, free for all, you can ask me whatever you want. Okay, so partners, I'll be sure to get back to that. Like I said, I graduated in 2007. I met John in Tanzania, and then I was at Brown. And I knew that I was really passionate about international education. Is anyone else interested in education in particular? Cool. Bravo. And so, we're all relatively young. We don't always know what the heck we're doing, but that's okay. And I think that's actually good in many ways, because something Bill Clinton says, he has this conference every year where he invites a lot of college students to come together who are out there making change. And his big piece of advice is always enlist the old people. And my takeaway from that was, okay, I'm young, I don't really know what I'm doing, but there's a lot of people out there who've gone through what we want to be going through, and who actually are really excited to help us and to mentor us. So that's one piece of advice I'd like to leave you all with, is don't be afraid to just go out there and get started with something. It could be really small, something just in your local community, but go out and just get something out there. The first version of this website was very ugly. It was, not very functional, but at least it got the idea across, And the more I started talking about it with my friends and my parents' friends, it sort of slowly built momentum. So, yeah, and I want to just mention how this got started in the first place. So I studied design, and it just so happened that another classmate of mine from Palo and my dad were both computer scientists, so they're software engineers. So between the three of us, we had the skill set to put together a website. And that's something I'd recommend you all think about yourselves. What are you good at? What do you enjoy doing? And take a look around at your friends, and even your parents, perhaps. What are they good at, and what do they enjoy doing? And is there a way that you can work together with a couple of friends to just get like a prototype out there? Get something out there in the world. Does that resonate with anyone? Is anyone thinking about starting something? Yes? No? Yeah? Who said yeah? I'm going to pick on you. Is that you? Yeah, what are you interested in starting?
Well, I've been working on a blogging/social media class at the local place in Alto.
Cool.
So I think it'd be really interesting to make that even larger, something that's more important.
Cool. Yeah. And have you thought at all about how you can engage your friends or other people that you know to sort of help?
I think that a lot of people vlog and a lot of people like to, I don't know, speak what's on their mind. So it'd be interesting to see if people from different communities could actually like mentor each other in a sense way. So I'm like trying to think like vlogging, but being able to connect with other people, not just living in your own world.
Yeah. Cool.
Can you repeat what she said? Can't hear that.
Oh, you want to just speak louder? You'll do it better.
Well, okay, sure. I was thinking of, so right now I'm working on a blogging program. Do I really?
Why not?
Hello? Okay.
Can I just speak loud? I don't
Yeah.
know. But, so I was, currently I'm working on a blogging program at the local Boys and Girls Club, which allows them to create their own websites in a sense. On Tumblr, actually, they get their own accounts and they get to blog about what they're going through or some things they've learned in their program. But lately I've been thinking, oh, maybe I could make this even larger, not just in their East Palo or Menlo Park community, make it something into a global kind of organization that would connect people from different communities so they would be able to blog about their experience and share them with each other. But just an idea.
Cool. So you asked a little bit about partners. And so I want to talk for just a minute about how we sort of grew what started as just something that was helping 32 kids in Tanzania into something that's helping now over 300 kids in 13 countries. And something that I think is really important for us all to remember is just that we're each individuals and it's pretty tough to do everything by ourselves. So it's important to kind of think about who you can work with and who you can partner with to achieve the goal that you want to achieve. So, like I said, in the first year we have 32 students in Tanzania in one community. And we got thinking to ourselves, man, this website could really help other kids in Kenya, Panama, and other countries that also you have to pay to go to school there. And so what we did was we started looking at some groups like this one, Children of Kibera, which is an organization that sends kids to school in Kenya. And you can go click Take Action, and you'll see that to sponsor a child at their school, it costs $360 a year. Well, as I was talking about in the beginning, this is great, but there's no way to sort of connect with the students that they're supporting, see their profiles, write to them, etc. So what we started to do is reach out to organizations like this one and say, hey, you're doing great work, but what if you gave your donors a chance to connect directly with your students through our website? And so we shifted a little bit, and instead of us traveling all around the world having to identify students ourselves, we actually started to partner with groups that are already doing that work. And what we're doing is helping them with the website piece, because that's what we were good at, and that's what we had the time to do. So, okay, what the heck am I talking about? On the website, you'll see over here this list of partners. And we now have 27 partners. And right here, you'll see Children of Kibera. So that's the one I was just showing you. And when you click that, you get to their special page that just has their students. And what they've started to do is send this out to their donors and say, hey, now there's this cool way where you can go on and see our students and see exactly what they need, see their profile, and write messages to them. So that's sort of how we grew. And I think the takeaway for you all is, think about what you're trying to do, and think about who else is out there that's already done some of this work and started, and figure out how you might be able to work with those different groups. Cool? Okay, I'm going to show you one more thing that I think is kind of fun. Has anyone heard of Chegg? Yeah, what's Chegg?
It's where you can rent textbooks.
Yeah. Yeah. So Chegg is this website where I recommend you check it out when you go to college. It's a thing where you can go on and instead of buying your $300 chemistry textbook, you can rent it for $15 for the year and then you return it. And they have a whole bunch of other things that they do now as well. But what Chegg is doing is they're doing this campaign where when you rent your books, you can add $1 at the end to plant a tree. And it just so happened that one of their leaders' sons came on a trip with us to Tanzania in 2011. And he said, oh, you got to come talk to our head of our giving program at Chegg. She's great. Her name's Heather. Go show her what you're up to. So I met Heather, and she really liked what we were doing. And I told her, Heather, this is cool. Chegg is a great company. It's serving young people. But here you've got this thing where you're planting a tree. What if instead you could give students the chance to support fellow students in other parts of the world? And she really liked that idea because it's relevant to their customers, which are like you and college students. And so my idea to them was, when you check out with your books on the Chegg website, we can actually go find a student that's relevant to those books. So if you have chemistry and biology in your shopping cart, we can say, here is Julie in Kenya, who also likes biology and chemistry. How would you like to give $1 to Julie? And they went for that idea. So we're going to be launching that with them soon, which is pretty cool. And so the reason I'm telling you this is I think a couple interesting things happened there. Number one, I mentioned this kid Connor came on our trip over the summer. He just happened to be someone that crossed paths with us. So think about the people who you know, think about the people who you cross paths with, and see how you might be able to engage with those people. And the other thing is, when you go and partner with like a company or something to help you do your work, think about what they want. Think about what they want out of the equation, and try and frame it in a way that would be useful to them. So in Chegg's case, we were giving their students a way to give in a more compelling and interesting way. All right, I'm going to stop there, and I'd love, in the remaining couple of minutes, to answer any questions. Yeah.
So you've started this amazing organization. You're reaching out to all of these partners. As students, we're developing ourselves now to really make the same kind of impact or a bigger impact, really. What skills do you believe you needed in order to really be successful and be able to reach out to
Yeah, great question. I think something I mentioned at the very beginning was just not being afraid to go out and try something. I think you learn a tremendous amount when you just go out and start iterating on what your idea is. And I happen to think of these kinds of things in a pretty entrepreneurial way. I don't think everyone thinks about it that way, and you don't have to, but I happen to think of this as like a little mini business with the product, and so I wanted to get the product out there in the world and have people give me feedback about it. So courage, I would say, is one thing that's important. Yeah, I'll leave it there. Yeah, go ahead.
What level in school or age do you sponsor people to? Like, is it kindergarten through high school or like senior year? Or
Yeah, it's high school.
Okay.
So essentially freshman to senior year. Because that's where you have to start paying to go to school. Usually elementary and middle school are free.
Do you get some sort of pay or something?
Do I get paid? No, I'm a bum on the streets these days. So Ms. Whitson mentioned this briefly at the beginning. I'll just say this really quick.
It's interesting.
I work Mondays on this, and I actually work Tuesday through Friday at Google. And that's something that you all can think about in your life, is find a company that's really cool and like lets you explore other things, and then you can do your passion. Thank you very much.